Caddo Lake is a movie that is sure to satisfy fans of Netflix's series Dark. If you've never heard of that show, you need to go check it out. But anyway, this movie just dropped on HBO Max, or Max, I guess they're calling it. So with that in mind, let's talk about this movie. Caddo Lake stars Dylan O'Brien, Eliza Scanlen, Lauren Ambrose, and Eric Lange. It tells the story of a family dealing with the disappearance of an 8-year-old girl on the lake and follows two main characters along their journey to discover the mysteries of Caddo Lake. It's going to be tricky to do this movie review without getting into spoilers, but I'm going to try my best. It's been a long time since a movie made me feel this pulled in. I was just feeling so engaged the entire time. There is a very interesting mystery happening in this movie, and my brain was working in overtime trying to piece together the mystery. And that, I think, is what makes this movie so entertaining to me, is that it made me feel more engaged than a lot of movies have lately. And I think one of the best parts about this movie is when you start putting together some of the dots, because there's little breadcrumbs sprinkled throughout, and when you start putting the dots together and forming a picture, it is so satisfying, and you're going to be sitting there saying, oh, wow. It just had a lot of moments like that, and it was just so fun to watch. Now that I've seen the movie and the mysteries and the clues have been revealed, I'm looking back and I'm thinking, oh man, that was kind of obvious. Maybe I should have figured that out. That's what's going to make this movie have a rewatch value, is once you have the information and you know what was going on, going back and rewatching it, you're sure to catch things that you did not catch before. And that is just a sign of a very good movie. In my opinion, if a movie makes you want to watch it more than once and you can take something different from it each time, that's a good movie. This might be one of Dylan O'Brien's best performances. His character is a guy named Paris, which, by the way, I loved that name. That is a great name. I think it should be used more often, not just for cities. His character works out in the swamps. It's not really clear exactly what he's doing. Maybe I missed a plot point. All I know is I saw him constantly hitting rusty pipes, so I think he's taken apart drills that were old, but I'm not really sure. I think his performance is excellent. He is playing a man that has a lot of trauma. He had a past pain that happened, something horrible happened in his past, and it has really shaped the man that he became. He is very somber, he's very quiet, he's elusive, he's reclusive, he doesn't really want to get to know people. You can see in all of his mannerisms that this is a man who's being held back by guilt. The accident that happened that kind of made him the man he is today, he feels somewhat responsible for it, and even though he's probably not responsible because he was quite young, it has left a lasting imprint on him. And it's just so clear in every part of this performance that this is a guy who is just not ready to move on from something. He's constantly in his own head trying to make sense of the past, and this mystery that he stumbles upon, it kind of brings back feelings of that past, and that's what's really driving his character. Dylan O'Brien, I think you did a great job, sir. I want to see more from you. Keep coming out with stuff like this. Another brilliant performance in this movie is Eliza Scanlen. She plays a girl named Ellie, who is the sister of Anne, the 8-year-old girl who goes missing that sparks this whole mystery. Something about her kept reminding me of Ruth from Ozark. Is it the hair? It's probably the hair. Her personality was kind of similar too. She's spunky. This girl has some attitude. She's a strong-willed girl with a chip on her shoulder that probably works against her most times. There's times in this movie where I just wanted to slap this girl because some of the times she was just being standoffish and rude. She has a lot of anger that she's holding on to. Her mom has another husband. Her father is not around. It's just weighed on her a lot. It's kind of defined who she is as a person. She knows that there is something strange about this lake and she is looking into it. And so is Dylan O'Brien's character. Who doesn't love a good mystery movie? Putting together clues, coming up with conclusions. When you figure things out, it's extremely satisfying. And this movie had a lot of that. There were so many things that started being revealed that made me feel like, that's what was going on. And like I said at the beginning of this review, if you watch the show Dark on Netflix, this is going to feel kind of familiar to you. And if you know, you know. I'm not going to get into spoilers and explain that connection. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, you need to watch that show. There's a sci-fi element to this movie. This movie kind of reminded me of like Donnie Darko mixed with, you know, any kind of movie where someone goes missing or a mystery. So there's that bit of sci-fi mixed in with this very real feeling mystery. When the credits started rolling on this movie, I spent like 10 minutes gushing about the movie to my husband that had just watched it with me. He saw all the same stuff I saw, but I was just so pulled in and so engaged. I just couldn't help but just talk about this movie. And as a matter of fact, I can't wait to watch this movie again, because now that I know what I know, I can go back and I'm going to notice clues way earlier. And that is so fun. And I can't wait to see people's reaction to this movie. I'm sure there's going to be some very interesting forums with people putting together theories. I'm going to be looking out for that, because this movie has a lot of layers to it and it's going to provoke conversations. This movie is an October release. And although I don't think this movie is scary, I do think it is a good contender for an October release, because there is something creepy going on in this movie. The swamp in this movie, Caddo Lake, is a character in this movie. It has a very mysterious ambiance. Even when it's well lit and it's broad daylight, there's something just kind of unsettling about this lake. And its ambiance is perfectly captured by both the director and just the cinematographer. I think everything about this movie is so well made, and it makes it fit in perfectly for October Halloween season release. I felt like the writing in this movie was on point as well. These conversations felt real. They felt natural. They didn't feel like a script. Obviously, it is a script. This is a movie production, but something about it, I just felt like I was watching something real. Heck, it had an A24 quality, and that is never a bad thing. Caddo Lake is certainly one of the best straight-to-streaming movies I've seen in a long time. As a matter of fact, it's good enough that if they decide to do a physical release, I would consider buying it, because this is a movie that I want to be able to watch more than once, and maybe more than twice. And you never know when they're going to just randomly take movies off of streaming networks. So if they decide to do physical release, I might pick this one up. For me, this movie is a 9 out of 10. I enjoyed it a lot. I think a lot of people are going to really enjoy it, and there's going to be some very fun conversations about this movie. I think the actors in this movie did a great job. The directors, there's 2 of them, by the way, they did an excellent job capturing a creepy ambiance and making a movie that feels like sci-fi, but also feels real. I think that a lot of people are going to enjoy it. So did you see this movie yet? Please put your thoughts on this movie in the comments and let me know. Did you like this review? If you did, please hit the like button. And if you want to hear more things from me, subscribe to this channel. Later.